everyone, it's Tony Games here. Welcome back to the channel. We're here today with a speed build. It's a city core inspired build, and actually the main inspiration comes from New Name. If you don't know who she is, go check her out on YouTube. She does amazing content, one of the best decorators that I know, and she actually did a city core inspired build in this same area of Eternity Isle. Now mine is nowhere near as good as hers, so definitely recommend to check her video out because it is really good. But I basically, as I've mentioned several times already, trying to do a fairy core inspired valley, which means that there's a lot of houses I have that just don't fit in. So I'm trying to find places for them in Eternity Isle at the moment. So my Eternity Isle is a little bit chaotic, and I thought to make use of some of these more city core type buildings, I should do a city core inspired space. And I was trying to figure out where exactly to do it, and I was pretty much left with this small area, which is probably one of the most awkward places to decorate in because it's such a small confined space. At least for a build of this size, where I probably would have used some more buildings and stuff if I had the room for it, but I didn't. So I guess maybe it's a bit more like a little small town build, I guess you could say. I wanted to have kind of like a road feeling along with paths. We do have a little bakery set up as well, along with Mike and Sully's house, and also the Monsters Inc. apartment building. I wanted it to kind of have like almost like a university town feel, maybe like a library feel. So later on in the video, when I'm decorating near Mike and Sully's house, you'll see I put down a picnic table with a book on it and a little drink and things like that, just to kind of go alongside that. At the moment here, we're decorating the little bakery space, and then I decided that I needed some street lamps and things like that, and I was trying to decide what best to go with, but Summit wasn't vibing with the iron lamps which I originally wanted to use. I think the black iron color of them was just too stark of a contrast against some of the other tones and colors within this build, so I decided to go for these other lamps instead. I felt like they fit in a lot better with the build and the colors and the tones of it all. So that is what I'm doing here, is I'm just placing a bunch of lights out. Then I moved to the back of the Monsters Inc. apartment building that was a premium shop item. I wanted to decorate behind there and kind of give it the idea that it's a communal shared space, that different residents of the building were basically living there. So some of it is like decorated with like floral garden elements. I had the idea that maybe there was someone who lived there that really liked plants and flowers, especially in the city. They really wanted to bring some natural vibes to the area, and then maybe also like a younger group of people living in the apartment building, and with them we've got like some music items. We do also have some seating areas and things like that, just where they can hang out and chill. did also use the Mickey Iron water tower in this build. I just thought it kind of had that like city core vibe that you might have these tower structures. Obviously it's a water tower, so in this case it would be providing water, but like the idea that sometimes you get those like electrical towers and things like that. In fact, we do have water towers in my hometown, so yeah, I just kind of wanted to give it a few more pieces that had that kind of like town core, city core kind of vibe. I did also place a little market area. I just thought maybe it might be nice to have a little kind of like shopping space. I do think if I'd have used another building, it would have gone in this space instead of like the market stalls. I didn't want it to have too rustic-y a feel, which is why I've only done a few little stalls, but I wanted to have some kind of like shop vibe to the area, so that's why I included those in here. I am also at the moment creating a little garden space for my main house. I kind of wanted to make it look like it was a cute little back garden. Maybe the owner had a little pet and stuff like that. That was the vibes I wanted to go for it. And then I didn't like the like stone pathing that you could see coming through, so I tried to put on some dirt pathing, which I felt would look a bit more realistic for a back garden space. Now, I also wanted to include a little alleyway section. When I made a dream snap for my husband's account, I believe it was the Critter Challenge, I did a whole like back alley area with the raccoons and things like that. So I kind of wanted to like copy those vibes. So I have done kind of like a little rundown little alleyway with a few kind of like broken wall pieces, and also just some sort of mix of junk and eclectic items and things like that. Here you'll see me pull out the like rustic market stall, but I realized it was a bit too much for what I was kind of trying to go for with this city core vibe. I did also use these grates from the premium shop. They're set with the Pirates of the Caribbean items. I just think they add a touch of kind of like realism to the build. Just thinking of how you usually have those grates and things like that down the streets. I have also used some of the magical recyclers which were from a previous star path, the park star path, because I felt that they could look like those big almost industrial sized dustbins that you get with a lot of businesses. I have also used a range of different vehicles. You'll see that I put out the electrocycle there. A bit later on, I do also use the Nightmare Before Christmas car. I do think it's a bit oversized for the space that I put it in. So I'm thinking that at some point I might actually change that and just have the motorcycles and things like that, because I think they fit into the build a little bit better, especially with it being such a small confined kind of build. also used a couple of signposts and weather banners and things like that dotted around, just to kind of give the idea that there was sort of banners, posters and billboards like you typically see in a town or city kind of setting. I then also wanted to decorate this little grassy area outside of the house. I did want to have a little bit of kind of like foliage and greenery, but I realized that I could only use the items that had the like 1 square footprint, so it did mean that I had to use a lot of the Eternity Isle foliage. I do wish we had like more trees that didn't have such a big footprint. I believe the smallest footprint one is the red maple tree, but ultimately I don't want to just use red maple trees all the time. So sadly it does mean that I have to have these builds where I might be a bit more limited on the foliage items that I can use. Anyway, we are shortly getting to the end of this speed build. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, don't forget to leave a little like and a comment. It does help me out massively as a content creator. The other thing that I would just quickly like to add, at the end of this walkthrough, there is going to be, well, at the end of this speed build, there's going to be a walkthrough, both in a daytime setting and a nighttime setting. So feel free to check that out if you kind of want to look at it from a regular height perspective, I guess you could say. But yeah, definitely go check out New Name, since she inspired this build pretty much. I don't think I could have done this build without her inspiration, so definitely go check that out. But I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day. Do take care. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys!